Hey there, folks. DarkPhoenix from DarkPhoenix Gaming here, and let's play some Medieval 2 Total War in a new series I'm calling The Phoenix Rises, because we are going to be playing as the Byzantine Empire and attempting to reclaim our glory days and pushing back the barbarians at our gates. But as you can see, the Byzantine Empire starts in a bit of a state. We don't control a lot of territory, and we have to reclaim everything we have lost. And if you're one, and I just want to say this right now, just so you know what my victory conditions are going to be for this game, because they will not be the same as the official ones, even though I am going to be doing a long campaign. My official victory conditions are going to be: number 1, reconquer the territories held by the Roman Empire at its height, including Britannia, Spain, North Africa, all of that. Number 2, when they arrive, I am going to wipe out the Mongols. Number 3, if possible, I would also like to conquer Germany, i.e. the Holy Roman Empire. But that is an optional, just would be nice kind of goal. If I achieve the other one of conquer the historical territories of Rome at its height, then I'll consider this a total success. If I can reconquer just the territories of the Eastern Roman Empire, though, it will be a partial success. With that said, any tips or advice are very much welcome. It's been a good long while since I played Medieval 2 Total War, but I felt like it had been enough time since I'd played a Total War game that I needed to do another playthrough of this on the channel. With that said, I'm now going to proceed to read the entire text blurb, because I feel like that does an excellent job of setting the scene. Byzantium is the shadow that remains. The old Roman Empire is a mere shadow, because despite retaining the civilized ways of the Roman legacy, the Byzantines have done little to further it. In fact, it is their reverence of the old ways that has brought the empire to a point of stagnation in a world that has gradually kept moving on. The differences between the thinking in Byzantium and the West were most profoundly highlighted with the Great Schism, the division of Christendom. Despite boasting the world's trade capital and home of Orthodox Christianity in Constantinople, the Byzantine Empire is well past its zenith and is now in steady decline. The outer regions of the empire have been slipping from the emperor's grasp for decades now. To the west, the Normans have taken southern Italy, and in the east, the Turks have moved into Asia Minor after their decisive and terrible victory at Massacre. The latter of these two losses was the worst defeat the empire had suffered in its entire history. To make matters worse, general corruption, chaos, and dissent has led to some other provinces closer to home to rebel. Arguably the greatest threat to Byzantium lies in its independence from Rome. there is significant risk that the lords from the west will consider the lands of Orthodox Christianity to be fair game, unless the Pope decrees otherwise. It is a true irony that Constantinople may now have to appease Rome after becoming the new capital of the Roman Empire centuries ago. If the Byzantine Empire is to once again become the dominant power of the East, then it will first need to reclaim its heartlands wholly for encroaching upon the borders of another power. The Byzantine legacy is long and predominantly proud, but unless the Emperor can turn things around in a hurry, it is a legacy that will soon end. And turn things around we will. However, I am going to be playing on medium difficulty, because despite how much I love Total War games, I'm generally not very good at them. So, I generally stick to just the average difficulty. So, with that said, let's get started.
Byzantium stands on the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. A prophetic dream led the Emperor Constantine to found the city, which is a center of culture, commerce, and diplomacy. For the dream of this land to become an empire, it requires the strength and courage of one willing to take charge of perhaps the most vibrant city in the world.
Indeed it does, Mr. Narrator Man, indeed it does. So here we are. This is the Byzantine Empire. Rather tiny, as I'm sure you'll agree, for an empire that's supposed to be the heir to Rome. We're rather tiny for that sort of thing. I'm going to send all of Nicaea's forces into Prince John's army. And in Constantinople, we will now disband the peasants. I have no interest in having peasants in my army.
Your orders?
They can stay home farming, as far as I'm concerned. Our fleet, on the other hand,
dropping anchor until morning.
can check a few things out.
As far as we go today,
Heracleon is owned by the fucking Venetians, and we hate Venetians. Durazzo. Over here. It's a nice place. Between Thessalonica and Corinth, we can probably rustle up enough troops to take Durazzo, but there's another province down here I'm more interested in. I don't remember the name, but it's the one we want.
Hello, Your Highness. Happily, my lord.
And the princess will be heading north now to see if we can't wrangle a few trade agreements. But let's start out with Constantinople, our capital. Let's see if we can't do a little building. But before we start building, I would raise taxes, but that puts our growth on 0. Something that will need to be addressed before taxes can be raised. The first thing we're going to do is to build us a brothel, so that the capital can have some whores. After all, we need whores. Nicaea will get a small Orthodox church. We have Nicosia over here, our fortified settlement in the Middle East on this island.
Yes, my lord. Full sails. We shall continue tomorrow, my lord. This is as far
So,
as we go.
what shall we do with Nicosia? We're going to set up a small Orthodox chapel, and dirt roads and land clearance. I want to start getting the military recruitment buildings in Nicosia, because landing some troops over in the area that's now Egypt in order to yoink a few settlements, I wouldn't be opposed to that. That said, we're going to avoid taking Jerusalem for now, because the Pope has a tendency to call crusades on you if you conquer Jerusalem. I learned that in a playthrough I did a long time ago as Egypt. It was not especially fun to suddenly find out there were 4 full stacks of Venetian, French, German, and Sicilian armies marching on me because I conquered a settlement near me. Not especially fun to have to deal with that, no. Thessalonica, we'll give them a land clearance, then dirt roads, and then a port. And I'm going to start doing a tiny bit of recruitment around here. Get a few units on the go so that we can bolster our armies. I want to take some nearby rebel settlements as soon as I possibly can.
Orders. Yes.
Thessalonica has a tiny army right now. The people we have at Corinth are recruiting. Corinth is not building as we don't have the money for that. I've exhausted my entire income building this turn.
Your will.
So now we are going to end the turn. Someone wants to marry our princess. He's very loyal, kind of chivalrous, with a little bit of command, and 16 years old. I accept. But there goes that princess up north I was trying to do diplomacy with. Oh well. And that Smyrna down there is indeed the rebel settlement I was moving on.
Yes, my lord. This is where we
So
shall meet
our
the enemy.
faction heir can attack and lay siege to their Motte and Bailey there. And those two have gotten married. That's very nice. Nice and a turn report. 1 chivalry. Some recruitment and building works being done.
Plotting course now, my lord.
And roads over here would be a nice addition to our empire as well. Another island to our name. No more recruiting to be done there. We can only recruit peasants at Corinth right now. Unfortunate. That said, we can build some roads there. Oh, that's nice. Prince John is on his way.
Ready to trade.
Trade for some silk, please.
Opening trade lane.
An honor.
My diplomat here can head north and do our former princess's job of negotiating trade agreements with some of the western nations up here of Hungary and so on. As the only nations in the west that I'm interested in being openly hostile with at the moment are Venice and Venice. Beyond that, we're probably going to stick to the eastern guys right now, at least early on, and there will be war with the Turks, and probably the Egyptians. That much I can say for certain.
Yes?
We have a general in this town who's doing bugger all. I'll recruit one unit of soldiers over here. Actually, no, I won't. I'll instead build some dirt roads. And that... now this turn. Adana and Antioch over there are nice and exposed, though. However, I imagine they won't stay that way for long, and the Turks will probably move in at some point. Turn report done. Some of my queues have stalled because I have stuff queued up for construction. Let's see. We can set the tax rate in Constantinople to very high, and they go onto a yellow face. What about Nicaea? The same. Yellow face is perfectly reasonable. Thessalonica, high tax rate. It's very high tax rate, yes indeed. To quote Demo, one of the Let's Players I really quite like, the people are far too happy, so we'll tax the hell out of them. That's how this works, right? People are too happy, so you tax them. Nicosia. We won't do any recruiting there. I want to get the garrison quarters and stuff up in Nicosia, so we can recruit some soldiers and start invading the Middle Eastern rebel settlements. We'll be staying away from Jerusalem for the time being. The rest of it is fair game as far as I'm concerned.
Your will.
And Smyrna,
Closing for battle.
I will lay siege to now. Not like it's going to be much of a siege. These Martin Baileys are stupidly easy to penetrate. Three battering rams will do the trick, I think. That will be more than sufficient. But I think I'm going to cut this episode here. this has been DarkPhoenix from DarkPhoenix Gaming, and thank you for watching episode 1 of The Phoenix Rises. If you've enjoyed this, then please share this video if you liked it. Follow me on my social media, and subscribe to keep up to date on my latest uploads. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you then, folks. See you then.